All right, ready to dive in. Today, it's all about autophagy, how our cells do a little spring cleaning and recycle their own parts.
It's pretty wild when you think about it, like a microscopic level of decluttering that has a huge impact on how long and how well we live.
Right. And you sent over some research from Dr. Ben Bikman that explains all this in a way that's actually really easy to understand.
Dr. Bikman is great at connecting these complex cellular processes to, well, our everyday lives, what we eat, how we manage our energy.
He even uses the term self-eating to describe autophagy, which I gotta admit sounded kind of freaky at first.
It does sound a little intense, yeah.
Sure.
But once you grasp what's actually going on, it's really a brilliant system for keeping our cells healthy.
Okay, so break it down for us. How does this self-eating actually work?
Well, imagine your cells have these tiny little recycling bins and garbage disposals. Autophagy is basically them breaking down damaged parts, the stuff they don't need anymore, and then using those pieces to either make new stuff or just create energy. It's like the ultimate upcycling project.
So less about cells eating themselves and more about them being super resourceful, right?
Exactly. And this constant cleaning and recycling, it's essential. I mean, you don't want cellular waste just piling up. That's when problems start.
It's like if we let our houses get completely overrun with garbage, things would get pretty dysfunctional. So what happens when our cells can't keep up with this garbage disposal?
Well, Dr. Bikman links impaired autophagy to a bunch of health issues. We're talking accelerated aging, chronic diseases, Alzheimer's, heart disease, even cancer.
Well, wait a minute. You're saying this tiny process at the cellular level can have that big of an impact?
It really shows you just how connected everything is in our bodies and how important it is to support these natural cleaning processes.
Okay, so we get that autophagy is a good thing, but let's zoom in on aging specifically. Dr. Bikman mentioned it naturally declines as we get older, right? So what does that mean for us?
Basically, think of it like your cell's recycling systems becoming less efficient over time. And what happens? Cellular damage builds up. We're more prone to those age-related diseases. It's one of the reasons why things like neurodegenerative disorders become more common as we age.
So theoretically, if we could find ways to support autophagy boost, somehow could we potentially slow down aging and stay healthier for longer?
That's the hope, right? And it's why autophagy is a hot topic in the longevity world. Researchers are looking into different interventions to do just that, enhance autophagy and promote healthier aging.
I remember Dr. Bikman mentioned this drug, rapamycin, but he seemed kind of hesitant about it. Can you explain why?
So rapamycin is really interesting because it's been shown to actually induce autophagy in some animal studies. They even saw lifespan extension in some cases. But there's a catch. Rapamycin can also mess with your immune system, which could make you more likely to get infections.
So there are trade-offs to consider. It's rarely a simple solution.
Right, exactly. And we really need more research, especially in humans, before anyone starts saying rapamycin is a safe and effective way to boost autophagy.
Wow. This is already so much to take in. And we haven't even gotten to things like insulin, diet, and how those impact autophagy.
I know. It's crazy how this one process, cells cleaning up after themselves, can have such massive implications for our health and well-being.
And that, my friends, is exactly why we do these deep dives to uncover these hidden connections and give you the knowledge to take control of your health. We'll be right back to dig even deeper into the world of autophagy. Don't go anywhere.
And we're back, diving deeper into this whole autophagy thing.
You know, I gotta admit, before we started this deep dive, autophagy was one of those terms I'd heard but never really understood.
Yeah, but it's so fundamental to how our bodies work at their best.
Exactly. So let's get practical. What can we actually do to, boost autophagy? Dr. Bikman mentioned some lifestyle stuff. I'm ready for the actionable tips.
Well, he was really big on fasting. Seems like giving your body a break from constantly digesting food is a major autophagy trigger.
Makes sense, right. If your cells aren't busy processing all that incoming food, they've got more time to focus on cleaning house.
Yep. It's like telling your cells, okay, team, no more takeout tonight. Time to clean out the fridge.
Love that analogy. But I know fasting can seem a little intimidating for some people. Are there ways to do it that aren't so extreme?
Oh, totally. Intermittent fasting is super popular. There are a few different approaches, like time-restricted feeding, where you limit your eating window to, say, 8 or 10 hours each day.
So it's not about starving yourself. It's more about being strategic with when you eat. right?
Yeah.
Giving your body those breaks to ramp up the autophagy.
Exactly. And then there's alternate day fasting, where you eat normally one day, then cut way back on calories the next.
Okay, those both sound a lot more doable than I thought.
Yeah.
What about exercise? Does that play a role in autophagy too?
Big time. Exercise is a powerful autophagy activator. When you work out, you actually create those tiny little tears in your muscles, and autophagy swoops in to clear out the damage and make way for new, stronger tissue.
It's like a post-workout cellular renovation.
Yeah.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Exactly. And it's not just about the muscles. Exercise boosts autophagy in the liver, the brain. It's like a system-wide upgrade.
Okay, so fasting, exercise, got it. What about the food itself? We talked about keto. Anything else we eat that it influences autophagy?
Remember how we talked about insulin being that master regulator? Well, anything that keeps insulin levels stable can indirectly support autophagy.
So cutting back on refined carbs and sugar, those things that spike insulin.
You got it.
Yeah.
Focus on those whole, unprocessed foods, keep your blood sugar steady, and your insulin stays more balanced, giving autophagy a chance to do its thing.
So we're starting to see a picture of a lifestyle that really supports cellular health. Are there, any specific nutrients that actually directly stimulate autophagy?
There are a few that have caught researchers' attention. Dr. Bikman mentioned spermidine, which you can find in aged cheese, mushrooms, and soy products.
Interesting. So maybe that cheese board after a fasted day isn't a bad idea after all, huh?
Potentially. And there's resveratrol. It's found in grapes, red wine, berries. It seems to activate some of the enzymes involved in autophagy.
It's wild to think that these compounds in our food can have such specific effects on our cells. It really shows you the power of nutrition.
Oh, absolutely. But it's not just about popping some supplement or chasing after specific foods. It's about taking a holistic approach,
Yep.
making those consistent lifestyle choices that support overall well-being.
Right, and Dr. Bikman did say we don't want autophagy happening all the time. It's all about balance.
Exactly. Autophagy is a breakdown process, which is essential, but we need periods of growth and repair, too.
Too much of a good thing and all that. How do we find that sweet spot?
Tuning into your body is key. How are you feeling? Energy levels, sleep. Those are all clues.
And it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor, especially if you're thinking about trying something like intermittent fasting and you have any health conditions.
Oh, absolutely. Safety first. Always. But I love how this conversation highlights how much control we actually have over our health, even down to the cellular level.
Yeah, it's empowering, right? It's not about being afraid of aging. It's about understanding these processes and making choices that support our body's natural ability to bounce back and thrive.
I love that. It's a total mindset shift from fear and just accepting things to curiosity and action.
And speaking of action, before we wrap up this part, I just want to give a shout out to all of you watching. Seriously, your engagement, the likes, the subscribes, sharing these deep dives with your friends, that's what keeps us going and allows us to reach more people with this information.
We are so grateful for your support. You're the reason we do this.
So thank you for being on this journey with us. We'll be right back for the final part of our autophagy adventure. All right, we're back for the final stretch of our autophagy deep dive.
It's been a fascinating journey, right? Exploring all these details of this crucial process.
I feel like we've uncovered a whole hidden world inside our bodies.
And it's a world that has so much potential for improving how we age and just, well, our overall health.
So let's bring it all together. What are the key takeaways from Dr. Bikman's research? He really stressed that insulin-autophagy connection, right?
Absolutely. Insulin is like the conductor of our metabolism. It's involved in so many processes, and keeping it in check is essential for autophagy to do its job properly.
Which means watching our carb intake, making sure we're eating things to keep our blood sugar stable.
Exactly. All those refined carbs, sugary foods, they send our insulin levels on a wild ride, and that can really mess with the balance of our cellular processes.
Dr. Bikman was also a big advocate for incorporating some kind of fasting, right? Whether it's intermittent fasting or time-restricted feeding, just to give our cells a chance to really activate that autophagy and clear out the junk.
Fasting gives our cells a break. They can shift from growing and storing energy to repairing and renewing themselves.
Like hitting the reset button for our metabolisms.
Exactly. And then we can't forget about exercise. It's not just about building muscles or burning calories. Exercise actually stimulates autophagy in different parts of our body, even our brains.
So getting those workouts in is a win-win for our physical and mental health. But I think beyond the specific things we can do, Dr. Bikman's research really shows us how important it is to be proactive about our health and aging.
Right. We're not just along for the ride. We have the power to actually influence what's happening in our cells and maybe even slow down that aging process by making informed choices.
It's about realizing we have more control than we think.
And it's about staying curious and learning more. The research on autophagy is always evolving, so it's good to stay up to date.
And that's exactly what we try to do here on The Deep Dive. We're passionate about sharing all this fascinating and useful information with you so you can feel empowered on your health journey.
And honestly, we couldn't do it without your support. Your likes, subscriptions, sharing these deep dives. That's what helps us reach more people and keep these conversations going.
So thank you, truly. Now, before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought.
I'm listening.
What if instead of dreading getting older, we saw it as a chance to grow and renew, not just physically, but at the cellular level too?
What if we thought of autophagy as, well, not just a way to slow down aging, but as a key to living a more vibrant and fulfilling life?
It's a pretty powerful shift in perspective, don't you think? And it all begins with understanding these amazing processes happening inside us.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the world of autophagy.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and maybe even inspiring. Remember, the journey to optimal health and longevity is an ongoing thing, so stay curious, stay informed, and keep those cells happy. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Give us a like and share this with your friends. It really makes a difference in helping us grow. Until next time, keep exploring that amazing world within.